it's like sometimes things can be right in front of you, but it takes revelation for you to actually see it. And a lot of times what we don't realize is that as we get vision, we'll start, instead of looking at it, we're actually walking in it. We're living in it. And we actually have to go back to the documented vision to even realize that, oh my goodness. You know, there's a statement that I love, and it says, your feet can never take you a place your mind has never been. And I think that some of us have to expand our mind and expand what's God can even do within our lives, you know, to bring us to an expected end. Because if you think that where he has you right now is where you're always going to be, who done lied to you?
Welcome back to another episode of the Rare One podcast. I'm Adelaide.
And I'm Essence.
And today we are going to be talking about vision and why it's so important and how we even just began to walk out of vision. So we're going to get into it. Did you want to have something to add?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think more than anything, I feel that there are a lot of people who have hopes, dreams, aspirations. They want something for themselves, but they don't understand how to walk out a vision or how to even like capture it to the point where you can actually plan for it to come to pass. And so for me, I've experienced it in so many facets of my life, not even just in business, but just in, even when I bought my house, like I remember I was not even looking for a house. Yeah. I was satisfied with where I was living.
Cool living up there.
Yes. I lived in a high rise on the 12th floor. Yep. With views. Okay.
The views was nice.
And I literally told myself I was not going anywhere until I left the country, because that's really where my heart was at. I really felt like I was going to be going somewhere else. And I had this essential like encounter impression from God where I was like walking across one day and I literally heard, you're not going to be living here too much longer. And I'm like,
but why?
Like what? And I knew it wasn't my thought.
Yeah.
Right. And so understanding that, I knew that I needed to be a good steward over that word. And so a lot of times we get visions and not understanding what it means to steward that, or what it means to really like, okay, how do I now get this to the next dimension? And so when I see, when I think about a vision, it's something that we're able to see within ourselves, or it's just a thought. And I believe the discipline and the stewarding of that is to literally take that from this realm and put it into this realm on paper, right? And so for me, what I did was like, okay, I don't know what this means, but let me go write this down, because I have no desire to leave. But if God, if this is what you're saying, I need more, instruction on it. So I prayed about it. I remember I had talked to my parents about it, and my father was like, well, why don't you get a house? And I'm like, a house? Like that, it literally had never entered my mind. And it's funny how we can have, we can be so blocked off to an idea, right? And so when he said that to me, I just was like, let me consider that. And then I had to consider the reasons why I was so blocked off to that idea to begin with, right? And so when he said it, I was like, okay, that might be what I need to do. So I got really excited, and I was like, well, let me just go and look and see what I like, right? And so I went online, I'm Googling, and I'm just, looking for houses. I don't have a real estate agent or nothing, but I'm just trying to get an idea of what's on the market and what stuff costs. And by the time I finished my search, it was a problem because I realized that my taste was so expensive.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm bullshit. Like, there was nothing under $1 million that I like. It really was nothing that I seen, because at this point, I believe when you're exposed to something, it gives you an appetite for something, if that makes sense. And so now that I live on the 12th floor, like, I can't live anywhere without a view. As far, because that's now what I realize is a part of like who I am and what I want. And so I'm looking at these properties and just nothing was like really speaking. And so I remember getting off the internet and writing that night. And I wish I had my journal with me right now, but I was like, I want a house with city views, with mountain views, with large windows, with, a pool. And I just wrote all this stuff down, but it was vision. It was what I was seeing, and I began to document it. Not even knowing what would come of it, but it was like me saying what's in my heart when I feel like God is showing me, Yeah. And it's just crazy how, and I can finish the story, but it's just crazy how seeing that, the fulfillment of that thing, but not even really knowing how it would happen. Yeah. And I think that's the problem with a lot of us. It's like we might have this great vision and we see something, that's far into the future, and it excites us, but it also scares us. But it scares us so much that we don't even want to do the next step, which is just document it.
Yeah. We get crippled with fear that what if it doesn't happen? And that will absolutely stop somebody from writing something down. Because it's like, I don't even want to put it in the world, because what if it doesn't happen?
What if it doesn't happen? Yeah. And so I personally have found so much power in documentation, not just in journaling, but even in vision boards.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I did a vision board, I thought it was the corniest thing. Like, I just didn't understand the whole purpose of it. I just didn't understand it. But I had a friend that was really, I guess she understood the principle behind it and was like, listen, this is what we're going to do. And I was like, okay. I'm like, this is arts and crafts as far as I'm concerned. And I'm cool on arts and crafts, right? So we began to start cutting things out, and I started to realize there were certain things that were literally resonating with me and jumping out at me. And I was like, I don't know why, find your voice is speaking to me, but it is. Now, this was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I even needed to find my voice. I didn't know that my voice was lost. And here I am using my voice.
Right.
But at that point in time, you couldn't have got me on nobody's mic.
Yeah.
Right. But so those things were speaking to me, and I began to take those things and put them on an actual vision board. And having that there was like huge, because I really realized what it helped me to do was to focus.
Yeah. And literally remove those distractions, because those distractions, you may think like, oh, I really like this, but they have nothing to do with your purpose, or they have nothing to do with the people that you may be called to. And so if you can't delineate between vision and distraction, it's going to be really, really hard to like have a goal and go toward that goal.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
It's a huge game changer.
Yeah. And for me, like, I had to see it. I had to see myself from behind the chair.
Yeah.
When I did my first vision board, I was behind the chair, and I was behind the chair because at that time, I still loved doing hair, and I really knew that that's where I was supposed to be. But I had a vision of being free from behind the chair so I could do other things. And to put that on my vision board seemed so impossible.
Yeah.
Like, it really did. I was like, I have no clue of how this is going to happen, but this is what I feel is next for me. And I just put it on there. And so I think that we have these great thoughts and plans for ourselves, but because maybe we don't have anybody that's actually done it in our real life, or we have access to them, or that we even know the steps, it's just like, okay, well, I don't even know if that's possible, so I'm not even going to entertain it.
Yeah. And it's hard to be excited about something that you've seen or that you even want to see in your life if you're not willing to give it like a little bit of faith. By writing it down, by doing a vision board. Like, what does it really hurt to do a vision board or to write it down? Nothing. It don't cost you nothing.
It don't cost you nothing.
It costs you literally nothing. You can go find some old magazines. You can print some things off the printer.
Yeah, but not doing it costs you almost everything.
It costs you everything. Everything. Because you will be stuck and not have like the ability. You'll feel so complacent that you're not going to get the fulfillment out of life. And we're called to have a full, an abundant life.
Yeah. When I think about vision, and this may be a crazy analogy, but I kind of see it as, I think that motivation breeds, I believe that vision breeds motivation. And so when I think about, say, a dog, and I'm not liking it anyway to no dog, but it's almost like having something dangling, a piece of meat dangling in front of a dog. That dog has vision of the food, can smell the food, has just the overall just experience of what it's even going to feel like to be satiated by this food. And so there's a focus and a motivation to get there.
Yeah.
Versus say another dog that doesn't have anything in sight and is hungry as all get out, but is just trotting around exerting energy. And so there's no real motivation because it's like you don't even know where to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think so many times, like, we don't even realize some of the lack of our motivation is because we don't even have the vision.
Yeah.
Right? And so even right now, we're working on new visions. And, it's funny how we can know something in one season about one thing and we can apply it really greatly. But then when you get to a new season, it's like, oh, what's in my head? I got it. I already know what I need to do. But forgetting, the principle is to document it.
Yeah.
Write the vision and make it plain. Right?
Yeah.
And so even right now with us doing some documentation, it's just so fascinating to me because it's like, oh, it's becoming real even though it's on paper.
Yeah.
I remember opening the salon. I was like, I started drawing out what the space would look like and 4 chairs and where the shampoo area. I had never leased a space before.
Yeah.
I no stylists were going to be there, but I just got excited again. What does it cost to write out the vision? And I do believe that is literally like the next step. And so sometimes we always think that, okay, well, I don't have the money. I don't have, access to whatever resources, but it's just like, do what you can.
With what you have. It's enough.
Do you have imagination?
Yeah. Do you have some time? Some time that you're not using, for lack of better words, like, I'll use this word, time you're not using distracted by things that are not just motivating you toward getting to anything. Mm-hmm. You could be influenced by social media. You can be influenced by the movies that you're watching, or you can take some time away to focus on like, okay, God, what are you saying about my life? What things did you give me that do excite me? What does motivate me? Like starting to ask yourself those questions, but it's sacrificial. Like if you don't take the time to sacrifice to narrow those things down, mm-hmm. you think you're doing something with your time, but you're really not. And
it's just not being utilized wisely. Yeah. And you could be, tricking it off, whereas you
that was the word I was thinking, but
listen, I don't want to say it because I have found myself definitely doing that in various stages of my life. I know that we all are susceptible to it, especially now when the distractions are on such another level that we're inundated with information that is keeping us from like staying focused on what is next for our lives, And so I understand it to the nth degree. That's why I can speak to it, because I have been the distracted one. I just was telling you before we got on, I was like, I can afford to turn my phone off now and at night so I can sleep. And so when I wake up in the morning, like my phone is not the first thing I reach for because it's off, you know? And so it's like, okay, let me reach for the things that I know that are going to have me focused, because all my phone really is going to do is be a distraction. I don't need to be on my phone at 7, 8, 5, 6, 7 a.m. There are other things that are more important that will help set my day so I can be on track to fulfill the vision that's in front of me. And I think that's the thing, is like sometimes we've got to a place where we've already fulfilled a certain level of the vision, and we need to be looking for what is next. Like you can be in the now, but you also need to have a motivation and a vision for your next, so you can start, because otherwise you get to that place where you have reached the vision and it's fulfilled, and then you start tricking your time off because it's like,
you feel like I ain't got nothing to work toward or for now.
I've done everything. Yeah. But let me go back to this house story, because the craziest thing is, so this was like April when I did this YouTube search. Well, not YouTube, I'm sorry. Google search looking for houses or whatever. And I write this journal entry. And then it was like around July, where I was riding past like this model home, and I'm just like, dang, let me just go and check and see what these homes is about. I had completely forgot about getting a house at this point in time. I had documented it and I went on about my life. So I went and looked at these model homes, and I was like, oh, this is dope, but this is like so out of my range. So I just was like, okay, maybe I need to get on track to do this, because I know what God said, but I think there's also this uncertainty of, okay, I heard what he said, but what's my responsibility, right? And so I think my responsibility at the time was to document, but then that next stage was like, okay, when you're being just inspired to do something, just move off that inspiration. And so after I looked at those models' homes, I ended up calling a friend, and he put me in touch with a realtor. And from that point, I end up going to look at houses the very first day. Right? I went and looked at 4 houses, and I remember working with this real estate agent. He kept sending me stuff that I was just like, he must not get the vision. Like, I'm trying to communicate to him what I see.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to look on my own. So he sent me a couple of houses. I picked 2 or 3 from him and 1 for me. And we went and looked at all 4 of those houses. And when we looked at the one that I picked, as soon as we opened the door, I was just like,
it was you.
I was like, how much is this again? I mean, and so fast forward, I end up getting the house that I had picked, and I'm in the house a week, and I still wasn't sure, God, did I do the right thing?
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
I was like, I know I really like this house, but I'm not sure if I did the right thing. When I tell you, for whatever reason, I went back to look at my journal, I had forgot about this journal entry.
Yeah.
I had described my house to a T. I'm not lying to you.
Oh, I know. I remember.
I was blown away. Like, yes, it's like sometimes things can be right in front of you, but it takes revelation for you to actually see it. And a lot of times what we don't realize is that as we get vision, we'll start, instead of looking at it, we're actually walking in it. We're living in it. And we actually have to go back to the documented vision to even realize, like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. God, you fulfilled what you showed me.
So, there's a statement that I love, and it says, your feet can never take you a place your mind has never been. And I think that some of us have to expand our mind and expand what's God can even do within our lives, to bring us to an expected end. Because if you think that where he has you right now is where you're always going to be, who done lied to you? You have to have vision. And I think the other part about vision, and you can speak to this too, is like, and this is what you're really good at, is planning. What have you found about documentation and even planning that has helped you to kind of stay on track?
Honestly, I think that even when I took over the salon, I did not, that didn't even feel like my area, if that makes sense. Like within our relationship, I feel like you're the visionary, I'm the feet. Almost, it's like I will make it happen, and you can dream, and I'm like, cool. Let's bring this dream down. Let's put it into a system and let's get it moving. And so there were moments where you had even started to encourage me, Adelaide, what do you see? And I felt scared to even go there because I'm like, well, that's your thing. That's not my thing. And so then I kept pushing it away until you're like, no, what do you see? And it invited me into a space where I also had to invite God in, like, okay, I know you called me here and I want to be here. Help me to see what you see. And so then it was, I could start dreaming, but then I had to start communicating what I was seeing, communicating whatever God was showing me, and getting more and more confident in it. And in the very beginning, God made it so clear that what my main purpose to do at the salon was to make sure that I got like systems in place and started to organize things. Now, you had already had some of the formula already there. So I just had to just solidify things. And it took, we're 5 years in now. So I'm 5 years in. It took 5 years to get everything like as clear as day. But it took us working together too to make sure that the vision stayed like cohesive and on the same track. But it was me submitting those things to God and like, okay, how do you want this system to go? What is this supposed to look like? I don't have any background whatsoever in business systems, like none. All I know how to do is organize, and I love doing it, and it brought me a lot of joy. And you also help bring that out in that, Adelaide, that's your strength. That's a literal gift. And I always saw it as something that was, you're doing too much, or somebody, it was like, you're trying to control things, you're trying to do this, or you're very type A. It was never celebrated. It was always come into like, it was like conflicting with someone's comfort all the time, until you were like, no, this is a gift, and that's something that you're really good at. And I started to attach that gift to a vision to make it clearer. And I think that once I did submit that, I would literally sit at my computer. Okay, God, I know I'm supposed to be doing these systems. What does that look like? And it would just come. It would literally just flow out. And I know that probably sounds crazy to somebody, but it was like, I don't have no rubric to go off of. All I have is you told me to do this, and I just have to do it. Now I look at the operations manual for everything, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this was a vision that I had that it's literally like in real life right now, that I couldn't have done on my own strength. It took me submitting that over and over again for it to like actually come to life. So yeah, I feel like that's the area that was, it wasn't the very first thing that I had vision for, but especially in this context, it was like, I had no clue how to do any of these things, just like you had no clue how to get your own house, you know? But once I did submit that to God and I got excited about like what I could contribute, like, well, we here now.
Dial back.
Yeah.
We had a conversation and you were talking about how even 10, 15, I don't know how long ago that might have been, but maybe even a decade ago, how me even sharing bits and pieces of the vision with you also helped you to latch onto it as if it was 100%. Yours. Like, can you explain it a little bit?
Yeah. I think that one, it's really important for you to be around people who you know God called you to. And it's not to say it's going to be perfect like that every single time, but I knew that God called me to your life and vice versa. And you were somebody that I was going to be like connected to. It was just like this knowing, like you're a part of my whole life. You're my sister.
Right.
And so, but I didn't know, I didn't force that either. And so even over the years where we had, I don't know.
Like, cause it took time.
It took a lot of time, a lot of time. But I wasn't like, oh, well, if Essence don't do this, then I'm out type thing. It was never contingent on what you did or didn't do. It was contingent on me showing up and doing what I was supposed to do. But when it came to me even being at the salon, you would share certain things that it motivated me to say, this is something that I want to participate in, and I got to be excited about it. And even us having a conversation the other day, like, how do we make sure that we invite people into the vision that we have too? And what that looks like is, where does somebody play a part in the vision? What can they really connect to? I feel like the ways that you let me in allowed me to connect myself. Like, I have a place here. I can participate in people having a great experience. I can participate in people having an excellent hairstyle. I can participate in me showing up in my personality and the things that God gifted me with to show up for our clients in a way that didn't make me feel like I had to be you. You allowed me to be myself. That was me seeing myself in the vision. And it was, you gave me space to make it feel like, if this was yours, how would you treat it? And so inviting me into that space allowed me to connect at a different level versus somebody saying, this is mine and only mine, and you can only do what I tell you to do. If I mean, something so small, if you don't clean your station like you would clean your room if your favorite person was coming over, you know, then you don't feel connected to and feel proud of like being in that space or having dominion over that, having ownership over that space, you know, versus it's like, you better clean the chair like I clean my chair because that's my chair at the end of the day. It's like, no, this is yours. How do you make it your own? How do you want people to experience like your area? Again, you allowing me to, I wouldn't even say an allowance like that, but you invited me into, you can be a part of this. And not, you're just a number, or you're just a
Right.
You're disposable. You didn't make me feel disposable. You made me feel like I had a voice. I could, and I could dream there too, if that makes sense.
Attention all natural hairstylists. Are you ready to perfect your techniques and create flawless styles? Our online courses are here to help you with creativity, speed, and precision. We offer specialized courses in braiding, locking, and twisting, available to you 24/7 so you can learn at your own pace, anywhere, anytime. You'll be guided by industry leaders with over 30 years of experience, and we'll break down every detail, providing start to finish instructions so there'll be no guesswork. Gain the skills to become a confident and successful stylist and start earning what you deserve. Enroll today at rareessenceacademy.com and transform your styling skills.
Yeah, I think the other thing is people want to get with things that are moving.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, even, and I'm guilty of this too, but even like if you go to a page and you're following a page that hasn't posted in a year, you know, to a point, it's just like, well, why am I following something that's not moving? And so even in like, say, a salon or even any company, it's just like, where are we going? Can I see where we're going and see if it's the direction I'm trying to go and how I can play a part? And I think that that's where, you know, we all can benefit from as leaders, is to say, okay, do we have a vision, and can we make it technicolor to where people can actually see it and say, you know, this is not just the vision of Essence or Adelaide, but I feel like this is our vision, like, and I'm with that. And I think that that's where you can really build strong teams, because now you're actually a team, not just, you know, being dictated to or just tolerated or whatever. It's like, okay, well, you know, you just work here. And that took time for me to even understand that, because I think that I'm not as strong in, maybe I wouldn't say communication, but I'm just a visionary. I see things and I see them very far out, and I'm ready to run like a horse. I mean, I'm ready to run through a wall. Like, horse, let's go, you know? 12. Yes. But at the same time, when it comes to communicating all I'm like, yo, this train is moving. Y'all ready to go? You know, like, let's go. But I'm not always like the best at maybe giving the details, and I'm learning how to give like more details. But I think there's also just this, I don't know, like understanding how to be transparent and having the wisdom of knowing what to share and what not to share and for what time and season. And I think specifically as salon owners or just leaders, where you have, you know, potentially like people come and go, and it's like, dang, you've given them so much, and now you feel like they walked away with something if you've opened up too much. And so learning really with like how to go about that has been important. But I've also like witnessed you be able to lead in ways to where it's like, okay, now I'm able to like glean from that, because we have two different styles. Like I'm the fire in the horse emoji. I'm ready to go and I'm fired up, right? Whereas you're like, okay, systems, let's, you know, but it's a great pair. But I think that vision is just literally everything. And, you know, when we're able to like document it, I think because it gives you like the next step. Yeah. It's like, let me face this. We were talking yesterday about like, let's face the things that we have to deal with. And when we face it, we can see it for what it is. Yeah. And now we can actually devise a plan to actually attack it versus ignore it. Yeah.
Because it is big. It is big. And sometimes that big vision can be overwhelming. But if you don't face it, you're going to miss the opportunity of the process of you growing with the vision. Because to me, when I think of something that big, it's like, okay, God, I'm not there yet because you want me to grow into being there. There are things that I cannot skip. There's processes I'm going to have to go through. Jesus didn't skip steps. Who am I to think I'm going to skip some steps because he called me to a promise. I cannot skip steps to get to that promise. So if you called me to it, let me face the things that you have set up for me to face to be able to handle that promise. With what I have now, I would have the vision already if I was the person I was supposed to be to have it. But because I'm not, well, you're going to develop me into being that person that can sustain it. Because I don't want to fumble the vision.
Yeah. You know what? I was laughing because I just had this thought, right? I had a bar in my brain, and I was like, I got to say this bar.
Say the bar.
I'm going to say it in a second. But it's like, specifically when you're doing something with somebody, and typically you are going to do it with somebody, you have to get it on the same page, because you could be thinking you're having the same vision and have a completely different vision. Sure. You know, we had to even revise a vision to where we were like, oh, we need to scale it back a little bit and get focused on this exact next move, right? Yeah. And so it's like, how do you expect everybody to be on the same page if it ain't on a page?
On a page at all.
That's the bar.
That's the bar. Say it again for the people in the back.
How you expect people to be on the same page if it's not on a page? Yeah. Like, because everybody, you can be thinking you're saying the same things. What I'm saying right now may not communicate to you what my intention is. Yeah. And so when we're talking, now it's like, okay, Essence, what are you saying? Adelaide, what are you saying? Okay, now we understand what the vision is. And now clearly we can attack it, because now from that, we actually have steps to attack it, and we know who can do what, because I'm the motivator, the inspirer, I'm the marketer and the brander, you the system, you know what I mean? And so now it's like we can actually see how that plan can actually come to pass, and everybody can see where they can play their part.
And no one's guessing.
But if it's not on a page.
If you're guessing, you're aimless. And if you have nothing to aim to, what are you aiming for?
Come on now. Like, you ain't got that piece of me.
There's nothing in front of you that's going to motivate you.
There's no motivation.
Or you can't have anything to refer back to, because there's going to come a time where distraction is going to come, where the enemy is going to try to infiltrate this thing, because if you get there knowing you're going to be able to reach more people because God keeps his promises, you're going to be just elevating his name more and more. And the enemy is like, I don't want that to happen. Right. Things are going to come. If you don't have anything to refer back to get you back on track, it's going to be really hard to keep the course. But if you don't communicate to people, you can get distracted. Your partner can be distracted. And somebody who knows what that vision is supposed to be can say, wait, we're supposed to be aiming toward this. Let's get back here, because I don't want y'all to be off course, because I know that your success is dependent on my success.
Right.
Horse, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. The horse emojis is running through my head right now. Because I'm like, write the vision and make it plain. So we can understand. So we can understand.
Clear as day.
So we can run with it with the horse emojis. Stop playing with me.
Run. Because if we don't, people's lives are dependent on it. When it says people will perish, it's not a guessing people might, but they don't have anything to attach to. Yeah. And not everybody is a visionary. Not everybody is the person. I couldn't do this by myself. You couldn't do this by yourself. We need people. Yeah. So if we don't share the things that God is calling us to do with people, well, we're telling them that you can be out here wandering, but he assigned somebody to help lead you. As we were talking yesterday, everybody is not the shepherd. There are sheep. Yeah. And everybody, I don't even feel like I'm the full shepherd. I'm a shepherd in the way that I'm supposed to be. You're a shepherd in the way that you're supposed to be. But I know that there are people who need us to be able to make it plain, to be able to make it clear so that they don't perish. Yeah. And to me, that motivates me, because I'm like, I'm not about to sit here and they blood be on my hands. For somebody else, they'd be like, I'm going to get mine. But there's people who are waiting on you to lead them. But you didn't make it plain because you wanted to be selfish. And so now they over here dying. Yeah. Not me. I can't do it. Yeah. Can't do it.
Yeah. You know, I was just thinking about, with vision, we always think about what we don't have and, how and all that stuff. And it's just like, if we could just get out of the things that have nothing to do with us, all it takes is really your willingness to say yes. And yes, I'll do it. And yes, I believe that you're going to provide, because if there's a vision, then you're going to give the it's going to take place. Yeah. No clue. I remember traveling and teaching in Paris 15 years ago. And then next thing you know, we was in Paris. Right. And it was like, how? But it was the faithfulness. And I think I want people to understand, it's just like, no matter where you think you are right now, believe. Yeah. Believe and continue to do the work that's in your heart to do. It's going to come. Yeah. I started doing hair at, start getting paid like around 15. Well, my first money, was like 13 years old, right? But when I actually like had my own little studio, I was like 15 years old, and to think to be in the laundry room and to be at this place, you know, however many years later, but it was like God kept giving vision, and I just like, I see this, and you know, I'm crazy enough to believe it.
Yeah. So
be crazy enough to just believe what you see. Like there's nothing wrong with believing. I think the other part of it is having someone that can believe with you, because it's going to be incredibly hard to have a vision where you don't see any like real life examples of it and still be trying to hold on to that thing without having like a partner, you know? And when I mean by a partner, they don't have to be a partner in what you're doing, but a partner that believes that it can be done.
Yeah. When two come together, it can put how many? 10,000. There's literal multiplication in the things that you can accomplish when you do partner with people. And there's so many people like, I want to get this by myself. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. Is it because you just want to be able to reap all the benefit of it? But if you don't have that benefit to share, what is it really for? Because you're going to just be rich and alone. And people be like, oh, it's lonely at the top. I rebuke that. I don't want it to be lonely at the top. It's not easy to get there. But I believe if I don't have community, what is it for? If I don't partner with somebody and believe that not everybody is against me, what is it really, really for? I'd rather put to flight 10,000 than me being able to have a little bit of impact. No, I want generations to be impacted from the things that God called us to do, because I know that it's not just about me. Your vision is not just about you. And if the sooner you come into agreement with that, then I think that you're going to be starting to sow seeds for your grandchildren and your grandchildren's grandchildren, because that's what God called us to do. At the end of the day, that's what he called us to do.
Finding somebody that can hold you accountable to your vision is so important. You know, we're reading this book and it was just talking about the time to actually like really nurture that thing is early.
In its infancy.
And you also have to know, you know, who you can't share vision with, because they may not be able to handle something so sensitive and so fragile, because it is very fragile early on. And so I really just think about the people along my journey who have really been those people that I could just depend on. First, it was obviously my father, you know, and then along the way, you know, God sent other friends that really believed for themselves the vision that they had, and they believed for me, and they were able to hold me to a level of accountability. It's like, girl, are you working on that thing? And it's like, as much as I am a visionary and a dreamer, there's times where I definitely can get off track, and I'm so grateful for that. And so I can really see how sometimes people can be like by themselves and they're wondering why they're struggling so much. It's like, you need to find people that can hold you accountable, even if it's just one person for the now, because you're going to be surrounded by a whole bunch of people that may not.
And understand that the people that may not, they're not always going to come in a package that looks, you know, evil or deceptive or whatever. Think of the verbiage that they have. Think of if you give them an idea, do they shoot it down? Do they make you feel bad about that idea? Do they question, like, you for real? You sure God said that? Or are they encouraging you? Like, they'll tell you whether or not they're the good person that you can trust your baby with. Think of a real baby. Like, would you trust this person with your kid? If it's a no, that means you probably can't share your vision with them, because it is that fragile. But some of those people can be your family, and don't put your baby, the baby that God has given you in your heart or your spirit, don't put that vision in the hands of somebody who can misuse it, and then it could hurt your relationship with them in the long run, when you should have just had the discernment to say, oh, this is just not the person that's supposed to care for this baby. But I can still love them. I can still be in relationship with them, but they can't handle this thing. That could be our parents. That could be our siblings. That could be your spouse. Like, it could be anyone. And so you just have to be mindful of, who can I actually trust this with? And it doesn't mean that you're going to block them out for everything, but it just means, like, in this stage right now, I know it's just like if you physically get pregnant, you don't really want to tell somebody for the first like 12 weeks because it's so fragile that anything could happen. And somebody might be saying, you for real? You pregnant? You don't look pregnant. You ain't acting pregnant. You ain't doing, but you like, you know, you have a life inside of you. And so you want to just make sure that you communicate it to the right person that's just going to nurture you and love you throughout that process. It's the same with vision. It's the same.
Yeah. We need that.
Yeah.
We definitely need that. I just found so much more appreciation for that as I've, you know, went along my life. And I think it's also because, like, you know, now that my father's not here, he was that person, and it was just so natural that I didn't see him as, my accountability partner. I just see him as my dad. Yeah. But you know, then I realized, like, like, he was that person who really held me accountable to the vision, you know, because I communicated it with him. And so it's like, what you working on? What you got going on, you know? So, no, we need that. We do. What other notes do you have?
I think we touched on, I do think we touched on everything. Yeah. I think we touched on everything. Like, the one thing that I did want to add that just kept coming to me was, when we have the vision, or when we feel like inspired to even have a vision, you told me years ago, like, what would it look like with no limits? What if you have everything you needed? What if you had all the money you needed, all the resources you needed, all the people, the help that you need? What would it really, really look like to make it as full as possible, so you're not missing any part of the thing that you know God can do, you know? And I think that I have to refer back to that word every single time. I feel like, okay, God has given me a vision for anything. It could be for my children, for my marriage, for anything he's told me to start, for anything I'm supposed to write. What does it look like without any limits? Like, how full could it be? I'm talking about the things that make it completely impossible for it to happen. Because I think that if we started off being like scarce, you know, it's like, I'm gonna just put the minimum on this vision. Do we expect God to just do the minimum when he told us we can have the fullness, we can have more than we can imagine or think? Like, he can even add more to our more. And so
mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. And the things that we have seen God literally do with the vision that we have trusted him with, it's been mind-blowing. Because it does just keep getting sweeter and better. But I would just encourage people to just start with, like, think of the fullest you can possibly think of, and don't put the parameters of reality around it. Yeah. Because that can kill it. Because what we think is real in the natural and even in our flesh, like, that's not a factor to God. Yeah. It's not.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely know, especially when I coach people, that's the first thing I ask them, like, what do you see? And not what your eyes see. What do you see? Like, I have them literally close their eyes and let them sit in what they think is impossible. Yeah. And really just like, okay, I need color. Like, describe it to me. And I'll make them sit until they actually can really paint a picture for me. Yeah. And I can see that they're feeling it. Like, I'm looking at them and I can see that they're feeling it. And I'm like, that's it right there. Yeah. Like, you're scared to say that. You're scared to even think that. Yeah. But that's truly what it is. Yeah. And so when they can get to that place and recognize that, not only, like, I don't believe that you would be able to see that or get that if it was not possible. Yeah. I just don't, like, if it's authentic, I don't believe you would be able to see it if it was not possible. Yeah. So if you understand that once you open your eyes and you recognize that I'm not living in that reality, then there is a responsibility with it. There's a responsibility to document the vision. There's a responsibility to start to devise a plan. There's a responsibility to now act out what those things are. Because the thing is, we think that the things that we've been shown, I guess what we don't understand is that they're ours if we take it. Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. Like, we're actually being robbed of it if we don't take it. Yeah. Because it's yours already. Yeah. You know, I always liken it to Debo. It's like Debo in the movie Friday. Yeah. It was like, that was Red's bike. Yeah. he actually had physical possession of the things that God had given him or whatever he owned. And so, you know, he knew the difference between like having possession of his bike and not having possession of his bike. But it's like, if you can close your eyes and you have something in your heart, that's yours. Who stole it from you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes we're stealing it from ourselves because we're not willing to do the work. And so nobody's really is taking it from you, but you have to take it back with like real authority. Like, it's yours. Yeah. You know,
I just feel really, really, really strongly that there is somebody, and I have been a part of this somebody, that this spirit of disappointment, you don't want to dream too much because you don't want to be disappointed. You don't want to put out all the things that can bring the fullness of the joy and the vision because you don't want to be disappointed. And I would invite you to, one, rebuke it. And two, like, ask God to restore the things that you even feel like you've been disappointed by. Because there have been people on this earth, absolutely, that have disappointed us. And we just choose to not get our hopes high. Because if we get them too high, that is making room for them to be shot down really low, you know? And so I would just encourage you to not only redeem that, but to, like, ask God to just restore whatever that is in you that feels like, Lord, I'm afraid to have vision because I don't want to be disappointed. But know what might disappoint you is probably not even the thing that is attached fully to the dream, because the things that are not supposed to be there are not supposed to be there. So if you're attaching it to, well, it's going to disappoint me if somebody comes along and they start working on the vision with me and then they fall off, that has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with maybe God intended for them to fall off because they weren't supposed to be a part of it. But looking at disappointment differently, I had to really like restore that to be able to have some level of vision in that, oh wait, God, you called me to operate this thing, but now this person isn't here for it to operate. And that did disappoint me. But then it's just like, oh wait, no, you probably removed them on purpose because they weren't supposed to go there. And once I got that in my heart, I stopped being as disappointed with the things that weren't working out more than I was excited. And God, you're creating it. You're creating a path for it to actually come to pass with the people who was supposed to be a part of it, with the things and situations that I was supposed to learn to be able to manage that thing too. So I really hope that somebody feels like you can still dream without this devastation of disappointment from things that you can't control. Yeah. I mean, and let's be very clear. I think sometimes we see success and we don't even see what it took to get to the success. 100%. Falling is a part of the process. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I'll fall, and every time it's just a recalibration, and you have to have a spirit of determination that come hell or high, like this is going to happen, because I don't believe that God changes his mind about your life. Yes. What he said about your life is what he said about your life. Whether you choose to walk that path and to go through whatever that process is, it's up to you. Otherwise, you just choose to live in a life that's not necessarily called for you or meant for you, but you have to be determined. And there are going to be disappointments, that people are going to come, people are going to go. There are going to be money lost and bad decisions, but I still have to stay the course. The vision has not changed. Yeah, the process can. I'm not married to the process. I'm married to the vision. I'm married to, I believe and hold on to, God, you showed me this. My circumstance don't look like it now, but you showed me this, so I'm going to keep going. Run that back about not being married to process, because I want to understand what you're saying. It is... I'm not married to, or I'm not stuck on. One of the things Jerry even said is like not being married to the plans, but being married to the goal. The goal is, if I have, let's just randomly, if I wanted to make $100, well, the goal is still to make $100. How I make the $100 can change. I got you. My idea is, if you want to own a salon, well, all the things that happen in between are still going to get you to the salon, even if those things look like it's a setback or they look like, but if that's still your goal, you're going to get there. Right. But the process in which you do it, it may not be the exact same as what you thought you saw. And what I also, think about is like,
when we think about getting to a goal, sometimes we're so goal oriented that we're not process oriented.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, it's about building that muscle and that consistency of, this is just what I do.
Yeah.
This is just what it is. This is the person I am. It's like no different than, a goal to lose weight. It's like, my lifestyle is to eat this particular way. My lifestyle is to work out. So yes, I'm going to get to the goal, but the goal is really not as important as the consistency, because the goal is, it's just a byproduct. It's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
But become the person, build the
Along
habits,
the way. Yes.
have that determination to say, I'm not giving up. Like, I'm not going to give up on myself. I'm not going to give up on what the dream that God has given me. And I'm not going to give up on the people who are supposed to benefit from the dream and the vision that I've been given.
Right. And it's not to say the process doesn't matter, because it does. It's just how you handle the process.
And that's why I asked you. I was trying to understand.
Yeah,
So, but
no,
the plans,
right.
the ways in which you go about it, because you may have a plan in your heart, and he's like, I'm going to let me circumvent you and take you a different way.
It's like the destination is still the destination, but the route could change each day. And so it's, okay, will you submit that route every day? So like, God, whatever route you want me to take today to protect my life, because if you do it your way, if you go your way, you can come up against something that was never intended for you to come up with. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I want to go the way that you're calling me to. So I take my kids to school every day. The route is different almost every other day, depending on traffic. It could be an accident that way, but if it's my default to go that way, well, now I'm going to make them even more late, because I want to be comfortable. I want to know what to expect all the time. But if I'm like, okay, Lord, I trust you. Apple Maps, sometimes I trust you. I'm going to take this route that you're suggesting, because I know it's going to get me there faster, but I'm still getting to the same destination. Right. So it's like, I'm not married to my route. But I know that the route that I'm going to take is still going to produce it's going to produce a good product for me to be able to get there on time.
And not being married to the timeline. Like writing it out and working on it, it's going to come when and however it's going to come, as long as you're committed to doing the work, but not being disappointed that it has not happened yet, because what is happening is that you're changing.
You're growing.
You're maturing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're being refined. And that's what I think about, even, quote unquote failures and falling. It's like, every time you get up, like literally every time you get up, you've learned something. And this is one thing that I've learned from infants. It's like, they do not trip about falling. No. They took a step.
Yeah. And they fell 12 times before they took that step.
That is a win for them. Why? Because they know it's possible, because they see other people with two legs walking around, and they're like, I'm tired of this perspective. I'm tired of laying or crawling.
I want to walk too.
I want to be independent. I don't need to be picked up. And so their desire and their motivation to get to that next level of living is so great that they're so determined. And it's like, what is your desire? How greatly do you believe, and do you see that this can actually happen? That's going to be the impetus. Hopefully I said that right word. That's going to be the catalyst. That's going to be the force behind you doing it, because you really believe, like, this is something he's given me. Yeah. I believe can happen. And no matter what comes, I'm going to persist.
Yeah.
So that's all.
We hope that y'all got something and got a little bit more motivated to write down your vision, to make it plain, and know that it's not just about you. Like, think about how this can impact the people whose lives you are directly a part of. You're completely intertwined with. That can be your family. That can be your friends. That can be your children, and thinking about their children and their children's children, and how this could really impact generations to come, which is what I think we're all designed to do. But making sure you actually do your part, because you don't want to be the one whose dreams are just left to go to someone else because you didn't do it. So let's take up our space.
Oh yeah. And the last thing I say is, you can quit the dream, but the dream won't quit you. We don't realize that things that have been deposited in us, like, they are meant to be fulfilled. And when we're outside of that, and if we haven't, like, documented the vision, like, we're always going to be irritated and agitated when we see it or we encounter it. And it's because you're supposed to get back on it. Your dream's not going to quit you. Yeah. And so, don't quit your dream.
Have the courage to just push through.
For sure.
Yes.
Well, thank you all. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode.
Yes.
Peace.
Hey, Rare Stylists, if you are looking to grow in business and you know you need help, we want to help you. Log on to rareessenceacademy.com/coaching if you are ready and serious about growing in business.